Unboxing and installing a hard drive for my desktop PC. In our Facebook group, which you can find at facebook.com/groups/smallYouTubersBoost, we are frequently asked the question, what do you do with your old files? Your acquisition footage is often what is called in the industry. So this is the raw footage that you've recorded with all your mistakes and all the good parts too. People ask, do you save it or do you delete it? And my answer has consistently recommended that people keep as much of their footage as they possibly can. You never know when you're going to want to go back to some footage you shot before, and there's nothing like knowing you filmed the perfect thing and not having it anymore. It's incredibly frustrating, and it's even happened to me. I've gone on a cruise where after I made my videos, I ran low on hard drive space, and then I ended up deleting the original footage, and now I wish I could go back and get it back, but no time machine, so I can't. So as much as possible, I recommend save as much of your footage, not just because you might wish to use it in the future, but also because a lot of times people are lacking B-roll. So a lot of YouTubers will give you the advice that frequent cuts and different visuals will keep things visually engaged for your audience, and that's generally true. And one effective way you can do that is by cutting to B-roll. And if you are talking about a particular subject and you happen to have filmed something on that subject, it's great being able to cut to that. If I'm referencing getting views while you snooze, I often cut to something I shot of me sleeping for a travel video, ironically. It was for a how to dress for a convention video, but I used that footage in my other videos. That was filmed for Vacation Impossible. I'll often use it for Small YouTubers Boost as well. And so that means you're going to need somewhere to put all of your files and somewhere to store it all. And so what I recommend is, if you do have a desktop PC, is to get a large mechanical hard drive. Now these are not as fast as SSDs, but they are also much larger in capacity and much cheaper. So for storing your old footage that you're not constantly using, this can be a great option. And so I've reached the point where I need another. What I've done is I have picked up this Toshiba Performance Desktop PC. So when you're shopping for internal hard drives for your desktop PC, there's a lot of different kinds out there. So one thing you're going to watch out for is anything that has the letter N or NAS, which is NAS. That's generally for networking, and that's not really what we're looking for. What we're looking for is something that is for the desktop to store a lot of files, rather than being like a networked drive where it would be, the connection would be slower and its intention is different. As well, particularly with the Toshiba, if it starts with an L, that's generally designed for a laptop, so that's not what we're looking for here. We're talking desktop PC. And so in the Toshiba line, there are two sort of variants. There's the P series and the X series. The P series is not quite as fast. So with a mechanical hard drive, there's a disk in there that's spinning, and the faster that it spins, the faster you can access the data inside. Now, that technology has plateaued for many years, but they still sell the slower speed for some reason. So if you see like a 5400 RPM, that's the slower kind, which I believe is the P series. I went with the faster kind, 7200 RPM. That's the fastest you can generally get a reasonably priced internal hard drive to spin at, and so that's the X series, which we've got here. And I decided to go for, I believe this was, you know what's funny is this doesn't actually print the terabytes on it. I'm pretty sure I ordered a 4 terabyte drive, and now, like, this, nowhere on the box does it say its capacity. That's very strange. So that's like the first thing I've noticed with the unboxing. Yeah, even like the barcode at the bottom, the back, that's incredibly weird. I did order this off of Amazon. If you're interested in picking this up, I will have an affiliate link down below so you can find the exact same product that I'm talking about today. But let's just get into it and open this thing. It's sealed with a sticker. That is so strange how they don't on the box indicate its capacity. This giant sticker that's, I think, from Amazon might be covering the capacity. So that could be it. And it could just be that people order stuff online, and so it's not like you need to look at a box and read its specs and capacity anymore. I'm going to see if I can get under this sticker. Ah, there we go. Yeah, the 4 terabyte capacity is on the box. It was just covered by this Amazon sticker. which is irritating. Oh, and it shows also the RPM and the megabyte buffer. And so as I said, mechanical hard drives, they've sort of tapped out, they've plateaued in terms of speed, but in terms of size, they're still packing more and more onto these things at cheaper and cheaper prices. So this is a really good option. So as you can see here, under the sticker, it's 4 terabytes, 7,200 RPMs, and then of course there's like the cache and stuff like that, and the SATA connection, those things as well. So let's just dive in, and we'll start off with the unboxing portion here, and then we will transition into hopefully an install. All right, so there's some interesting packaging in here. It's like air cushions. It's almost like sneakers. And like, that's kind of awesome. Like, let's talk about this for a second. You can see inside the box there. But it's like 2 layers of air cushion. There's an inner air cushion in here, and then there's a longer air cushion on the outside, and it fits around the entire hard drive, which is fantastic because, you know, sometimes I worry about like shipping hard drives, they potentially could be damaged. So that's actually great. I like that shipping. It's a soft plastic, which hopefully you can recycle in your local jurisdiction. And of course it is contained inside a plastic bag. Now, in the past, hard drives used to kind of come in Mylar bags often that were like static free. So it's interesting that we've just gone to a simple plastic here, but the technology does evolve over time. I want to be a little careful in where I touch this. So, I mean, this is hefty. This is a mechanical hard drive. So it's got the disk in there, and it's, you know, got the circuitry and everything. So it is heavy. It's got some weight to it. And yeah, it is the 4 terabyte Toshiba, 7,200 RPM with a 256 meg buffer. And so just looking at it, it's nice and clean. You get a little exposed circuitry there, but versus other hard drives I've gotten in the past, this is actually not nearly as much exposed circuitry, which is maybe partly why they can get away with just using a plastic bag. So in terms of design, I don't have a lot to say, obviously, but it is it feels really sturdy, and it's compact, and it looks like all of the essential parts of it are fairly well protected. And so we're going to go ahead and install this guy. Some things to note: you're going to have screw holes along the side so that you can attach it to the chassis. And of course, you're going to have your connections. You're going to have a power and a data connection. We're going to be using a SATA connection for this, as well as hooking it up to the power supply. And of course, you get the screws 3 on either side. So I'm going to install this into my Dell XPS. If you're curious about the PC that I'm installing this into, we have an unboxing video on this channel you can go check out. I've got my hard drive and I've got my desktop. So when you're going to install some new equipment into your desktop, what you need to do is obviously disconnect every cord off the back and then bring it onto a good surface to work on, hopefully that's well lit with lots of space. And you're also going to want to have some screwdrivers handy. Depending on your chassis, you might need screwdrivers to open up the case, but you're certainly going to need screwdrivers to screw in those screws to secure the hard drive. For this, it actually has an interesting mechanism where you can open the chassis that doesn't, I believe, require, depending on how deep you're going in, any of the screws being undone. That's this power supply there. I'm not going to need to touch that. So let's see if I can remember. Yeah, you just pull that up and you saw that that popped off right off the side there. Just a little maneuvering. I'm able to get that side panel off completely. And now I have access to the innards of the PC. You'll notice that we do have a bay here, which is available, that would fit the hard drive. So that can work rather nicely. Let's see if we have available power. And yeah, let's see. We're looking for one of these hookups here labeled with a P for power. And look, we've got one here. So this could reach over here to connect the power. And then we just want to make sure that we've got a SATA connection available, which I'm not sure that we do. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm probably going to swap out one of the older hard drives rather than keeping all the hard drives in there, transfer over the existing data, and then get rid of the smaller hard drive. Because one thing to note, this did not come with a SATA connection. So this does not come with the data cable that you would need to hook it up. And I don't think I have an extra one kicking around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get into this here. Now, this has a couple of screws you can see down here. So this actually, this bay here can come out clean. You can attach the hard drive and then put the whole bay in, which is a whole lot easier than trying to screw something in along the sides there. So I'm going to take one of my screwdrivers here and pop that bay off. This one. I already feel it moving as I'm getting that second screw out of there. There we go. clearance here. The thing is it's right up against the motherboard, so you want to be careful getting this out so that you don't damage anything. Got it. There you go, just had to wiggle that out. That was a little awkward, more awkward than I would prefer. Another thing worth noting, this doesn't come with the screws for the side either. Also, there's screws down here because there's different bays mount different ways. So that's kind of unfortunate. So it's too bad that it doesn't come with those things. I think it's relatively common for a hard drive because generally a hard drive is an upgrade, and so you'll be swapping out the old connections for the new. So that's not terribly uncommon, but I kind of wish it was a different way. So obviously we're going to want our connections here, our power and our data connections, to be accessible, so those will have to be sticking out. This actually goes in that way. And so I think the ideal way would be to mount it like this, and the screws would line up. So when you place that in there, you see that the screw holes on the hard drive line up with the bay, and so you can screw that in and then pop the whole thing into the computer and then hook in your SATA and your power. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of leave it in there loosely while I transfer the data over. And then when I go back in to remove the old hard drive that I'll no longer be using, that's when I'll actually screw in everything in its sort of final position. But that's basically, it's relatively simple to install. So I'll just show you loosely. Now again, preferably to avoid rattling and to protect the equipment better, you're going to want to screw the hard drive in there properly. But just for now, I'm going to put it in there kind of loose, just for the purposes of transferring some information temporarily. But I'll show you how these connections work. So this here is our power connection. And you'll notice that it is sort of an L-shaped connection, which is great because it's kind of idiot-proof. It means it can't go in the wrong way. So you want to look for the corresponding notch on the hard drive and then line it up, which in this case, it's a little awkward, but it's going to line up this way. So I'm just going to plug that in somewhat carefully. There we go. And then for your data connection, you'll want to have a SATA cable, which I'm just going to steal from this neighboring hard drive right here. Okay, some SATA connections actually have a thing where you can push down to release it. And so again, another L-shaped connection. So you got that L shape there, and then find the corresponding L shape on the hard drive. This one's a little bit more conveniently shaped, and that's all it takes to actually connect it. So again, you're going to want to secure it properly with all of the screws connecting the hard drive to the bay and then the bay to the chassis when you are completely done. So far, this is looking pretty good. I'm going to go hook this up, fire it up, see if it works, and transfer some files over. But thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Give this video a like if you found this useful at all. We've got a lot of useful videos on this channel about running a YouTube channel, sometimes about equipment. We do microphone reviews. We talk about search engine optimization. We have motivation videos, all sorts of things. So check that out. And let me know in the comments, what do you think about this as a storage option? Do you prefer a USB removable hard drive? Do you have a network hard drive that you prefer to store things on? Do you store them in the cloud, or do you delete them? Let me know, and we'll talk in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.